Hello, you're watching the FinTech Magazine Show, brought to you by FinTech Magazine, InsurTech Magazine, and BizClik Media Group. My name's Neil Perry. I'm in for Scott Birch today, and we're here to bring you all the latest news, analysis, and opinions from the world of FinTech every 2 weeks, right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and all our other digital platforms as well. Joining me today is FinTech and InsurTech editor Alex Clere. Hi, Alex. How are you doing today?
Hi, Neil. Very good, thank you, and welcome to your first ever FinTech live show.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. You have to put up with me today. I do apologise. And as I think you've been warned by some of your colleagues, I do go a little bit fast and loose with the script sometimes as well. So I apologise in advance. Is there some landscaping going on outside your window today? I think you said there was some noise going on.
Yeah, as always, they save it for 2 o'clock on the mark, so hopefully it won't disturb us too much.
It could be worse. I could be at home and I could have my dog shouting at passing leaves, shadows, oxygen, any of the above. That's kind of how he is. But I'm in the office, so hopefully it'll be a bit quieter. Anyway, just to remind everyone, do come say hello in the comments section as well. Do say hello and say what you're up to, any of your thoughts as well. And also go and vote in our LinkedIn poll too. Alex, what's the poll for us this week?
Yeah, that's right. So we asked you about programmable CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. So according to the Bank for International Settlements, 60% of central banks are now experimenting with CBDCs. So we shouldn't be surprised to see them being launched sometime in the near future. But they do give rise to some security concerns. For example, because it's a digital currency with all transactions recorded on a ledger, anyone with access to that ledger has access basically to your transactions. So that obviously raises the prospect that CBDCs could be used by perhaps unscrupulous governments for surveillance purposes. So in our poll, we asked you whether programmable CBDCs would be A, good for the economy, or B, whether they limit flexibility. You can still vote now during the show on our LinkedIn page, and we'll bring you the results later on.
Yeah, so we'll share those results a little bit later towards the end of the show, but loads to get through and talk about before then, of course. Let's start by taking a look at the latest FinTech and InsurTech news. There it is. I thought we were going to leave us hanging there for a second. So Alex, kick us off with what's the latest?
Yeah, of course. So similar to the poll, really, my FinTech pick of the week is about crypto. And in particular, Nubank has announced the creation of NuCoin, its own cryptocurrency, on the Polygon blockchain network that forms part of the challenger bank's digital currency strategy. Now, Nubank is massive. It's got over 70 million customers all across Latin America, and it's expected to be worth as much as $126 billion by 2025. NuCoin will be distributed during the first half of next year, and it will form the basis of what Nubank calls a groundbreaking rewards program. So Nubank is going to use the digital currency to roll out a rewards program. Around 2,000 customers will be invited to participate, representing some of the most engaged customers within Nubank's ecosystem. So the FinTech wants to offer customers benefits such as discounts and perks as they accumulate more NuCoins. It's using Polygon, like I said, the Ethereum scaling blockchain, as the foundation for the technology behind NuCoin. I suppose you could say it's kind of a fairly traditional application, but of a new technology. So it's likely to feel fairly familiar to consumers, I'd say. So instead of collecting loyalty points, they're collecting loyalty coins. Nubank has appointed Fernando Chapsky as its general manager for NuCoin, and he says that NuCoin will be a new way to recognize customer loyalty and foster further engagement with Nubank products, I should say.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something maybe we could see a lot more of in the future from other people. But let's look at InsurTech. What's your pick of the stories from this week?
Sure. So, of course, every FinTech and InsurTech has their sights on that billion-dollar milestone, right? Well, Israeli InsurTech Vest2 is celebrating achieving unicorn status for the first time after it raised $80 million in a Series C funding round that saw its valuation leap to that sought-after billion-dollar mark. So Vest2 is an insurance risk transfer platform. It uses AI to connect insurance and capital markets, giving insurers the capital they need and investors the opportunity to diversify with insurance-linked assets. Now, the latest milestone is just the tip of the iceberg, really. Vest2 has been scaling rapidly for the last couple of years, and last November it raised $15 million in a Series B funding round, led by the same London-based VC firm that led the most recent round. That's Moru Capital. It's also been expanding rapidly in places like London, Hong Kong, Seoul, Dubai, and Tokyo, and growing its offices in New York and Tel Aviv. It wants to use the fresh capital to expand its global presence, enhance its marketplace platform, and widen its offering for insurers and investors.
Hey, well, you can really hear those landscapers going for outside your window right now. They've timed that perfectly, haven't they? So, as ever, if you want to check out those stories all on the website, you can find those on our socials too. Don't forget all the links in that on the website. But let's take a quick break if we can, and look forward to a very exciting event next week.
Are you leading the way in shaping the future of financial and insurance technology? Do you know the next steps in financial digitization, the impact of crypto and AI? Attending FinTech Live London, you'll hear from internationally acclaimed leaders, the 2-day hybrid learning and networking experience. The magazine, one of London's largest hybrid venue spaces. With more than 70 speakers across 2 conference stages and 10 interactive panels. You can be part of the conversation about the future of FinTech in the world today. Can't be there in person? Join us as a virtual delegate online. Take part in the discussion and find valuable networking opportunities through the app. Register today.
Yes, we're looking forward to that next week. Welcome back. Still to come, of course, we have the results of our LinkedIn poll and more on FinTech Live. But first, we have this week's interview. Alex, do tell us about that.
Yeah, that's right. So Joanna spoke to Christian Yerding, the CEO of payments orchestration company Cellpoint Digital, about the challenges vendors and merchants face when managing payments in the gaming space. They also take a quick look into the trends that we'll be seeing as the metaverse develops. Let's take a look.
The gaming industry is only going to get bigger. We've got the metaverse, which is just a phenomenal platform that is going to be sweeping everybody, or at least the younger generation, into. How do you see that developing in terms of new technology and trends in terms of the gaming payments space?
So first of all, I think, and there's a little bit of terminology here. I think Meta from Facebook is one such environment. It's not going to be the only one. I think you're going to see an explosion, just like you see with markets places, right? Amazon used to be, I wouldn't say alone, but pretty alone, mostly competing with individual online stores or brick and mortar stores. And now you got marketplaces coming out everywhere, and Walmart's making a big splash, right? So you got competition happening. I think that's going to happen a hell of a lot faster in excuse my French, in the sort of the virtual reality world. I think you're going to see multitude of providers coming in that will either do purely the environment, purely the headset or the VR gear, or the combination thereof, like Meta does with their Oculus headset. So I think you're going to see a whole range of a massive blooming ecosystem, and you can't just plan on one. That's number one. Number two is, I think you're going to see that having these environments will initially be sort of like the Apple iTunes model in the beginning, where Apple was offering it, and I would then pay for my game, and Apple will take a big chunk of that, and then they'll pay the gaming provider. I think, without being an expert in the meta business model, but that's probably where it is right now. Because when you pay Facebook, you don't pay the gaming provider. I think that's going to change over time. And we can see the big issue with Fortnite and Apple, right? Where Apple is losing out tremendous amount of revenue purely because they refuse to change their model. I think they're going to be forced to do it. And I can't remember the legal state of that case right now, but I do seem to remember that there was some kind of ruling somewhere where at least Apple has to allow providers on their network to use third-party payment methods and just pay a flat fee or whatever arrangement they're going to make. That's going to happen too in these virtual reality environments as we progress. And I will say that that's going to happen over the next 2 to 5 years. I think we're going to see a lot of that happening. And you're going to see localized versions of this. Obviously, China's going to produce their own super controlled, probably, virtual gaming environment, and so on and so forth, right? And it's just going to be this whole massive myriad of ecosystems shooting up.
It's fascinating for me. I know, like my son and daughter, and every other game they seem to play, whether it's my son playing Fortnite or my daughter on Just Dance or something, they're all after a subscription. They're all after some kind of microtransaction. Alex, what's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I think it's a really interesting issue. Obviously, with payments in gaming, there's clearly issues for parents, but I think there's still a few other.
You can see my bank account.
Yeah, exactly. There are other unsettled issues, as Christian alludes to there, like Fortnite, as he said, being absent from the Apple Store because of that dispute over payments. So I think we talk about the metaverse as if it's a very near-term thing, a short-term thing. I don't think it will be. I think it will be quite a slow, long-term transition that we'll have to get used to. There's this question up in the air at the moment about whether you will need a VR headset to access the metaverse or whether it will be accessible through other means. But I think certainly in order to enjoy all of the features that come with the metaverse, people will need headsets. Less than 20% of Americans currently own VR headsets. But if you look at similarly priced technology like tablet computers, they've been around a lot longer, but still barely 50% of Americans own a tablet. And of course, one of the barriers to uptake that he mentions is the feeling of nausea that some headset users experience after using a VR headset. So although the industry is rightly preparing for VR right now, I think it's something that will take a long time in terms of widespread adoption.
Okay, so nearly November, of course. We're not far. It's actually not far off Halloween. We should have done a Halloween theme, shouldn't we? I feel like we've missed a trick. We have missed a trick. I'm just slightly concerned the video production team will just randomly introduce a filter halfway through. I genuinely wouldn't put it past them. So anyway, 2 new magazines to look forward to. We've got so many great interviews and features in these. I know when I was going through them before publication. So make sure you do visit both the websites for both FinTech and InsurTech, where you can read the latest magazines and watch all of the video content too. So let's take a look at the November issue of FinTech. Alex, I'll give you the pleasure of this. What can we look forward to?
Of course, yeah. So the November issue of FinTech Magazine is available to read now. This month's magazine features an interview with the co-CEOs of GoTime Bank from the Philippines. We've also got, I should say, they tell us how they're on a mission to unlock every Filipino's financial potential, as you may be able to just make out on the cover there. And we've also got a profile of Christo Kerman, the CEO and co-founder of Wise. Plus, we've got features around the role that lending platforms can play in an uncertain economy, trading trends and disruption in DeFi, the regulatory implications of emerging cryptocurrencies, that's another one. And our top 10 this month is top 10 digital banks for 2022. And as I say, you can catch all of that in November's FinTech Magazine, which is on the website right now.
Okay, that's FinTech. Let's take a look at InsurTech as well, as that is also hot off the digital press. Alex, what have we got there?
Yeah, we've also got our November issue of InsurTech Magazine. So in this month's issue, our cover star there is Mark Reeder, Head of Innovation at NFP, one of the top casualty and property brokers. He explains their game-changing system of engagement, which they call NFP Connect, and the importance of people and culture within their organisation. We also have a very brief history of pet insurance going all the way back to the 1890s. Probably not many people know pet insurance is that old as a concept.
Yeah,
as well as features.
I did not know that.
As well as features covering data security, speeding up insurance using ML and DL, 5G technology, and so-called smart signing. So a really rich and varied issue this month. And as we say, you can take a look at insurtechdigital.com.
Absolutely right. Let's move on to take a look at the results of the poll. Could you just remind us what that was again, please, Alex?
Yes, of course. So our poll was about programmable CBDCs, that's central bank digital currencies. And we asked you whether programmable CBDCs, it's very difficult to say on would it be A, good for the economy, or B, would you like to see more flexibility? And we have the answers in now. And you went with more flexibility, 67%. So that's a vast majority, 2/3 of people saying that obviously because there are inherent restrictions built into programmable CBDCs that you'd like to see more flexibility, really. And just 33% of people saying that you like the idea of programmable CBDCs. Sort of vouchers, not cash, is really the way we put it on LinkedIn. So those are the results.
Lovely. Thank you, everyone, for taking part in that. It's always fascinating to see those results. And saying CBDCs so many times in one show, if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off to you right now, Alex. But one thing I wouldn't recommend is anyone trying to say that after the Halloween event that's happening here in this office later on this evening. I'm convinced someone in costume is going to appear behind me at any given moment. It's just, I don't trust them. I really don't. Anyway, speaking of events, see, that was a seamless link, wasn't it? We've got an important event next week, FinTech Live. Do you see what I did there? That was seamless. It returns as a hybrid event in London, taking place on the 1st and 2nd of November. Now, of course, we held the first of these live shows last year at Tobacco Dock, but this year's event is moving to the venue called the Magazine, just opposite the O2. It's in Greenwich, overlooking the Thames and Canary Wharf. I've been there before, fantastic venue. This is really your last chance to book, actually. Get your tickets this weekend and come down and see us next Tuesday and Wednesday, either virtually or in person. I have the pleasure of hosting stage 2, I believe. I think I'm on the second stage and got plenty of good panel discussions and fireside chats that I'm very much looking forward to. Do come and say hello. We are there to chat, and it'd be lovely to meet some of you. Now, my script says now it is the end of the show. And this is the bit I'm slightly nervous about because I have absolutely no control over it. So I'm not sure if this is where someone hijacks me wearing a Halloween costume or you've got something else planned. What have you got planned for me, Alex?
Well, I haven't told them to hijack you, so if they do it, it's of their own volition. But yeah, the end of the show this week, we thought it would be a nice touch, a nice finish, given all we've been talking about so far during the show, to have a look at some of the weirder, wackier cryptocurrencies that are out there. And believe me, there are quite a few. And so we're going to do a quick game of Crypto Call My Bluff. So we'll show you 5 wacky cryptocurrencies in turn, and it's going to be your job to work out if they're real or if we're bluffing with you. So let's show the first one. The first one is unobtainium. So I'll give you a little bit of a brief description. As fans of the film Avatar might be aware, unobtainium is a digital currency named after a sort of fictional chemical element. And as its name suggests, you can kind of understand it's deliberately rare. So there are only 250,000 coins that it's possible to mine over the next 30 years. What do you think? Crypto real or crypto, have we made that up?
I don't know. I think that it's got such a nice backstory to it. And you can imagine enough people who genuinely love their crypto and love the entire culture surrounding it. It's the kind of thing that I think that could be real. So I think that's real. That
is a real crypto, yeah. Unobtainium is 100% legit. So if we move on now to OneCoin, so I'll give you a lowdown on OneCoin. OneCoin is a digital currency that has raked in $4 billion so far. Users can buy educational material that includes a token, which can be used to mine OneCoin, and the currency can be exchanged on the company's own internal crypto exchange. What do you think? Crypto real or crypto bluff?
Well, it's a convincing looking logo. It's not one I've heard of. I think that one's a bluff.
You're going for bluff. Okay. I'm sure there'll be many crypto geeks in the audience that are familiar with OneCoin. So it is a bluff. OneCoin was a Ponzi scheme that scammed investors out of $4 billion. Yeah. Its founder, Ruja Ignatova, is on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. So that one was indeed a bluff. I think you're 2 for 2 so far.
I'm quite pleased, actually, because I'm not claiming to be a crypto expert, and I'm concerned about the number of people watching this who are crypto experts who will be shouting at their screens currently. So I do apologise, but I'm doing my best.
Let's go for 3 for 3. So number 3 is Morris Coin. So it does sound like something you get at a Village Fete, but I promise you it's not. Morris Coin is a cryptocurrency from India that supposes returns of up to 3% per day on investments of 15,000 rupees. What do you think? Real or bluff?
I think that's a bluff as well. I'm not that convinced.
Okay, gone straight for bluff. It is another scam, unfortunately, as the high rate of return might have had you believe.
That did seem too good to be true. That was where I was leaning.
Often it is, yeah, where they're giving you sort of concrete suggestions of the returns you're going to get.
That's a very good return. And if it was that good a return, I would like to think I would have heard of it.
I suspect if it was that good a return, they wouldn't be sharing it with us.
Exactly.
They'd be on to a winner. But absolutely, yeah, Morris Coin cheated investors out of $145 million just to wrap that one up.
Wow.
So you're absolutely right. That was a bluff. Let's go on to number 4 now, which is Mooncoin. So Mooncoin uses the average distance between Earth and the Moon as its supply unit parameters. So that means that the amount that it's possible to mine is very high because there's a long distance between the Earth and the Moon, although technically not unlimited. So what do you think about that? Real or bluff?
Again, it's got a nice backstory, and I could see that appealing to people. I'm going to say true.
That one is true, yeah. Mooncoin has been around since 2013. So I don't know if it's beginner's luck, but we're going for 5 from 5 here. And let's move on to number 5, which is Dollycoin. Now, this is an interesting one. Dollycoin was a cryptocurrency launched in 2017 by the country music star Dolly Parton. It was indexed against the position of her records on the Billboard Country and Western charts. And in a press release, she says to fans, "You all can now invest in my crypto coin from 9 to 5, but even if you don't, I will always love you." I think she may have snuck a few songs in there. And I have further note to say Dollycoin was discontinued in 2019. So what do you think about that? Is that real or bluff?
Again, I would like to think that'd be something I would have heard of. I think that would have cut through the normal noise. But the backstory you've given me there, the press release, if this is a bluff, I'm very impressed with the amount of effort you've gone to. So I'm going to say it's real.
Oh, you do so well. As much as we want Dollycoin to be true, it's not true, I'm afraid. We did make the whole thing up.
I would have been very impressed. I'm very impressed with the level of effort you went to there. The press release was genius, absolute genius. 4 out of 5. I'll take that. I'll take that. Lovely stuff. And if no one has launched Dollycoin, she should. She absolutely should. I'm sure there'll be plenty of takers on that. Anyway, I'm disappointed. I wanted that to be real. Anyway, that is all for the end of show. I think I just about survived it. No one has jumped out on me yet, so that's good. But that is all we have time for because we have run out of time. And as always, been a massive pleasure. Alex, thank you so much for having me on the show. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll be back again. Of course, thanks to the production team too, who've done a terrific job and have not hijacked me. There are more people appearing with costumes behind me. It's sort of reached that sort of afternoon time in the UK where people are just winding down a little bit on a Friday, I think, and they're getting ready for the party here. Anyway, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with more FinTech facts and news, and absolutely, hopefully, we'll see you next week at FinTech Live in London. But until then, bye for now.